In the Department of Development, Rafael Underwood at R.L. Underwood and Associates, Carla Gwynn, the Greater Linden Business Network. Thrilled to have all of you join us this afternoon. When the pandemic first hit Central Ohio back in March, we knew a grave impact to our business community was on the horizon. In addition to the health and human service crises we already were facing. In Columbus, 80% of all of our businesses are small businesses with fewer than 25 employees. We knew we needed to assure that our small businesses could recover and thrive. We also knew that minority and women-owned businesses had been left out of the recovery from the last recession, the Great Recession of '08 and '09. So equity had to be a top priority for our community. In June, we announced the Small Business and Recovery Fund, a loan and grant program created jointly with Franklin County to help small businesses in Columbus through the challenges of the pandemic. Both the city and the county used dollars from the U.S. Treasury as part of the CARES Act to support this fund. And every time I talk about the CARES Act, I have to acknowledge the leadership of Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, Senators Brown and Portman, who helped to make the CARES Act a reality. We engaged with our partners and stakeholders, including Rev1 Ventures, Next Street, and dozens of entrepreneur support organizations and neighborhood resource partners previously engaged under the Columbus Small Business Agenda. Building on the Small Business Agenda framework, we welcomed J.P. Morgan Chase as a funding partner. Today, I'm happy to announce that more than 850 small businesses have been awarded grants and loans from this fund for a total of $8.3 million. Here's a breakdown of the recipients. 84% of them have 5 or fewer employees. 80% are minority-owned businesses. 43% are women-owned businesses. The fund provided financial assistance to small businesses throughout the community, some in low or median income areas of the city or county, in 3 ways: recovery grants, small business return safely grants, and pivot loans. All are to help sustain existing business operations and aid in job retention. This work has been an incredible partnership, and I'm happy now to introduce our partner at the city, and we'll hear from our partner at the county in just a minute. But please let me introduce the leader of Columbus City Council, our president, Shannon Hardin.
Thank you, Mayor. So within the city of Columbus, we work with our partners to distribute more than 800 grants, as the mayor just stated. Those Columbus grants add up to more than $8 million to help small businesses keep their doors open. And what's more exciting than the absolute number or the dollar value is how these grants made it into the community. Now, we all remember the frantic rush surrounding the Paycheck Protection Program. Because PPP relied on the financial institutions, larger businesses were favored over our micro businesses and businesses owned by people of color. We also know that PPP loans in Black and brown neighborhoods took longer to approve than those in white neighborhoods. Now, I wouldn't turn down another round of PPP program. We desperately need more assistance from our partners in DC. And I also would echo our appreciation for those who advocated on our behalf, Congresswoman Beatty and our senators. But in this case study, this is a case study on how policy and program design impact outcomes. As the mayor said, I think it's really important to go back to these numbers. 68% of the businesses that were funded through our program are owned by Black folks. 80% of the businesses are owned by people of color. 43% of our businesses are owned by women, and 84% of the businesses have 0 to 5 employees funded by this program. I'm extremely proud of the team that we worked with on this effort. The partnership between City Council and myself as chair of the Small Minority Business Committee and the Mayor's Administration, Henry Galat from the Department of Development, Karina Johnson from Council, Director of Development Mike Stevens, and many organizations that work together to figure this out. I'm very proud of this partnership, very proud of the work. Thank you, development team, for sticking with me even we kept on asking questions and as we developed the program. And Mayor, just good job in terms of getting these dollars out. And so at this point, I'll turn things over to Franklin County Commissioner John O'Grady.
Well, thank you, Council President Harden and Mayor Ginther, and to all of our guests and presenters that we have here today. On behalf of my colleagues, Marilyn Brown and Kevin Boyce, I'm very pleased to be here today to let minority businesses know that we stand with them. When the pandemic began spreading across the country, the federal government offered a paycheck protection program to help businesses. But did you know that only about 3% of the $3.4 trillion that was awarded to Ohio businesses went to assist minority-owned businesses? 3%. Like the vast majority of businesses, minority-owned businesses were on the verge of needing life support, and that's when the Franklin County Commissioners and the City of Columbus officials decided to take action. Together, we created these response and recovery grants for small businesses back in June, just as one of the many types of assistance that we offered during the pandemic. We pledged $2 million. $500,000 of those dollars of that funding is for revolving loans offered through the Economic Community Development Institute, ECDI. And we want you to know that many of these loans, just like these, are still available for struggling businesses today. Also in June, we offered grants for small businesses, specifically geared in hopes of helping minority-owned businesses. We heard from hundreds of small businesses who are struggling to pay employees and to buy the newly required personal protective equipment, which was now essential for all of them staying open. So far, more than $1 million of our funds have been awarded to more than 150 businesses, and we anticipate more will go out in the weeks and months to come as we continue to process those applications. Our award recipients were businesses like salons, barbershops, daycare centers, building contractors, coffee shops, cleaning services, and more. These county and city efforts also inspired corporate giving. We want to thank JP Morgan Chase, who is providing $250,000 in grant matching funds. I know that many more of us want to help our neighbors who are struggling in this difficult time, and there is something easy that each of us can do. There's just 1 month left to take the U.S. Census, which will benefit our entire community. Ohio receives more than $33 billion every year that's tied to population, and the census only happens every 10 years. So that's more than $330 billion that's at stake for our state. Your count matters, whether you talk about CARES Act dollars, like the awards that are being announced today, or the annual funding local governments use to help maintain roads, child care programs, public transportation, Medicaid, student loans, and so much more. So please take the time to go online to my2020census.gov or call 1-855-562-2020 and ask our friends and your friends to do the same. That's my2020census.gov or call 1-855-562-2020. Thank you. Now, I'd like to take a moment to introduce one of the neighborhood partners who worked with us on all of this, Carla Gwynn of the Greater Linden Business Network. Carla?
Thank you, Commissioner O'Grady. Thank you, Mayor Ginther, and also thank you, Councilmember Harden. The Greater Linden Business Network was honored to receive the call to assist in this innovative and collaborative program. We quickly engaged and mobilized our neighborhood partners, such as the Community of Caring Foundation, members of the Greater Linden Business Network, North and South Linden Area Commissions, and Sadiqa White and Associates, and others to help us share the word. We saw quick results and immediately started to refer businesses from North and South Linden to ESO partners such as RL Underwood and Associates. Next, I would like to introduce Rafael Underwood, Sr. and Associates.
Hi. To echo Ms. Gwynn's thoughts. It was not only an honor, but I enjoyed very much participating in implementing this program. Our firm served as one of the members on the Small Business Agenda and Assessment. In addition, we're also active members of the Working Committee number 3, which is the Capital Provision Committee. So I was extremely pleased to get this, to be a part of this program. The fund initiative, inclusive of the fund, has been one of the most productive and rewarding projects that I've worked on in my over 30 years of economic development experience here in the Columbus community. We were able to help small businesses such as Walker's Catering, and through our colleagues like the Urban League, Miss Peggy Jenkins and her husband was able to obtain a recovery grant for their business. Both of these businesses are featured in the short video that will follow next. Again, I'd like to thank the mayor, the county, and the city's Department of Development for doing such a wonderful job in listening to the needs of the community. Thank you.
I would like to say thank you to the City of Columbus and also the Business Network in the Linden area.
My name is William Walker. I'm from Walker's Catering Services. Well, the recovery fund kind of helped my business. With the recovery fund, you know, it helped me pay my bills off, helped me to be able to pay a couple guys that I had working for me. Also, I was able, you know, to go out today and buy a few deep fryers that I needed for my company. So it has helped me tremendously. You know, a lot of people haven't been able to make ends meet, but you know, with the funds that was recovered, it you know, got me back on my feet.
I do monogramming and embroidery, banners and small signs, printing, and I've been in business now 30 years. I wasn't able to get the graduation banners, and a lot of the small business quit coming, so I lost a lot. Well, it's going to help me do my marketing and also try to bring more clients back in to my business and the ones I lost also. I would like to say thank you to the City of Columbus and also the Business Network in the Linden area.
I think next we will hear from Director Mike Stevens.
Thank you, Mayor, President Hardin, Commissioner O'Grady. I wanted to share with you some of the tools that we have prepared to continue to give this information out to our community on how these CARES dollars have been provided to our business community. So I will pull up the map that we've developed with our GIS team here in the city. And this is just a screenshot of what's going to be available on our website so people can really look into the delivery of these dollars. This first screenshot shows the interest and the applications. It's a heat map showing the number of applications from areas around the community. As you can see, throughout the city and pretty much the whole county, we received interest. But those higher areas of interest and applications came on that Cleveland Avenue corridor as well as the downtown. The next map shows actually the concentration of awards. Once again, spread throughout the city, but also highlighted in those areas where we had greater level of application in that Cleveland Avenue corridor, as well as in downtown. When we first rolled out the program, it was eligibility criteria was you had to be in a low moderate income area census tract. And a lot of those areas where we saw the high concentration of applications were in those LMI census tracts. So as we take this live to our GIS website. There will be details about not only the census tracts, the company, and the awards, but the community will be able to see where those dollars were spread out and provided throughout the whole city. I'd be happy to answer any questions on that.
Thank you, Director. I know that we are entering the part of our press conference today where we're going to take questions from the press. I want to thank the department, the council, the county for all of their work. I want to thank Rafael and hearing from Walker and Peggy Jenkins, I thought was a great way for us to better understand, Rafael Underwood, how this program worked and how it impacted small business owners in our neighborhoods, in our community. We know that COVID-19 continues to cause great struggles within our community from both a health and economic standpoint. But our collaborative efforts continue to pay off for the people we serve. The grants and loans we've been able to award will help lift up our small businesses, which is so important to family, community, and neighborhood stability. Now we'd be happy to take questions from the press. First, I want to let you know that Quentin Harris and Henry Galat from the Department of Development are on the line with us to help answer any technical questions. We're going to use the raise hand function. I know you were sent instructions, but let's just go through them real quickly. You should see a hand icon in the bottom right corner of your screen. Click on the hand and you'll see a hand next to your name in the attendee list. That's how we know you have raised your hand. We'll unmute you to ask your question. Please tell us your name and what media outlet you're with. After your question has been addressed, please click the hand next to your name to turn off that function. And obviously, if you have additional questions or a follow-up, please click it again. So with that, I'll turn things over to, I think our first question is coming from Carrie Ghost. Carrie?
Hey, hope everyone's doing well. It's Carrie Ghosh, Columbus Business First. Now, this fund was $10.5 million. What is happening with the remaining $2? Again, extending the deadline, or are there just applications not yet processed?
Thank you, Carrie, for the question. Should I turn that, Director, hand that off to Henry or Quentin, or how would you like to hand that, Mike?
I'd be happy to answer that, Mayor. Carrie, thank you for that question. We are not going to be extending the deadline for applications. We have enough applications in our pipeline that we are still working through to get those final dollars out the door.
So there will be, Director, there'll be even more folks that are able to participate in this program. Their applications already in the pipeline.
Yeah, if they came in before our deadline of mid-September, they're being reviewed, and we will expend the full amount to provide these awards to those businesses.
Wonderful. Any follow-up questions, Carrie?
Yeah, can you say how many applications that is? Because, I mean, $2 million and the maximum individual award is $10,000. That could be a lot of businesses.
Thank you for that, Carrie. I will actually ask Henry to follow up and give a little bit more detail on what we have in the pipeline still.
Thank you, Director Stevens. We do have quite a bit of traffic still in the pipeline as we are working through that, as has been said. We are averaging around 75 to 100 businesses per review cycle that we move through that process. So yeah, it's still quite a bit of traffic out there, but it won't take long with those kinds of numbers to get through that pipeline. I should also say that part of the dollars were allocated to For technology, in regards to it's an online application, we're also using and of course, as you heard today, we have ESOs that's a part of that equation. So some of that is around administratively standing up the program and providing the technical assistance on the back end. So that's another use of the funds that have been awarded as well.
Any additional follow-up, Carrie?
I do. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there, and I don't even know how any of you can address this, but is there anything that can be done from the policy, the kind of structural problems that led to the need to create this fund, because of how PPP was, I guess, exclusionary?
Well, obviously, I'll open that up to either President O'Grady or President Harden. Any of your thoughts about that, and then maybe turn it to Mr. Underwood, Ms. Gwynn, see if they have any insight on how, if PPP were set up differently in the future, how could more minority and small businesses better access it? President O'Grady, any comments to that, or President Harden, or I guess I can turn it over to Mr. Underwood and Ms. Gwynn.
Mayor, I guess the only thing that I would say is that I think this again is an example of local government working. I don't know if it necessarily was, structural issues with PPP. We know that there were some there, but the relationships that I think 7 or 8 organizations that we work with on the ground were able to specifically target and reach out to either customers or clients or businesses that they already had existing relations with, which made, I think, it easier to target and make sure that we were reaching the population that we really wanted to serve. And so I think it's more of an example of the ability for us to get the resources out on the local level, and so I would focus there.
The only thing I would say is that traditionally, historically, and systemically, government programs haven't specifically looked out for minority businesses, and this has been an opportunity. This is the second time that we've done this. This has been an opportunity for local government here in Columbus and Franklin County to make sure that we are specifically looking out for minority businesses. It's not ever been done in this country. I should say ever. It's not traditionally been done in this country for the last 400 years. So the fact that we are making sure that here in this community that we're doing that speaks volumes for this community. And so, it's about time.
Good. Any insights?
Hi, this is Carla Gwynn. So, as a partner program, Linden Network, I think we can wholeheartedly support the technical assistance that will be provided by the ESOs for our small business community. The technical assistance will enable our smaller businesses in North and South Linden, as well as the greater Columbus area, to become mainstream eventually, so that perhaps in the future, we may not need to have a program as expansive, but the technical assistance is paramount for small business continued success.
To take the time to recognize.
Thank you, Ms. Gwynn.
I'd like to take the time to recognize the work of the Small Business Ecosystem Assessment Committee, because this fund came out of a direct result of that. And the goal of that committee was to reach underserved businesses. And so therefore, I think using local technical assistance people as ESOs, as I said, I myself have 30 years of economic development more particularly in serving minority businesses, previously working for the Ohio Department of Development in that capacity. So we were able to garner those contacts and those clients to get the word out, and to quickly respond. What I think I'm most proud of is that we quickly responded to the needs of the community during the pandemic with a fund that was flexible and relatively easy to qualify and access.
Thank you, Mr. Underwood. I know Council President Harden needs to hop off for another meeting. Wanted to see if he wanted to make any closing comments. I don't think we have any other questions from the press, but I want to give President Harden and President O'Grady a chance to make any closing comments. President Harden?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the good work of the folks in the Development Department, the partnerships with the county, the partnerships with the folks in the ecosystem that supported the small business owners. This was good government working for people, and just very, very appreciative of everyone who took part in this. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. President O'Grady, any closing comments?
Only to say we have continued to challenge our folks in the Economic Development Department the county's Economic Development Department to continue every time they come up with a great program, a great effort. We thank them for their hard work, and we thank the folks in the city's Economic Development Department and the work that they've been doing on behalf of the residents in the city of Columbus. We thank our folks for the work they're doing, and then we challenge them to go right back at it. So, because right now folks need these programs, need this effort more so than ever. And so, Henry and Mike Stevens and Quentin, thank you for what you're doing on behalf of the residents of the city of Columbus, Mayor and Council President Harden, and Mr. Underwood and Carla. Thank you for all that you're doing, but we have to keep it up. We can't rest on our laurels and just be okay with today's success. We have to now pat ourselves on the back one time and say, okay, great, let's get right back at it. And that's what we've challenged our folks in the county to do, because folks need us more than ever. And so this is a great effort, great job. Appreciate everything everybody's done, but let's get right back at it and do it again. Thanks.
Thank you, President O'Grady. Bottom line is 850 small businesses are stronger today than they were before this effort. $8.3 million into companies all over this community. 84% have 5 or fewer employees. 80% are minority owned. 43% are women-owned businesses. And as Carrie alluded to and we discussed and Henry explained, we have roughly another $2 million to invest in minority and female-owned companies, before the end of the year. So look forward to more updates from Henry, Director Stevens. Very grateful for all the work that's gone into this, and appreciate Mr. Underwood and Ms. Gwynn joining us here today and the incredible partnerships that have been put in place. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Good work, guys.